The world of music felt a profound and sudden quiet on June 11, 2025. This was the day that Brian Wilson, the gentle soul and creative force behind the Beach Boys, passed away at the age of 82. His family shared the heartbreaking news with the world through a deeply personal statement. They spoke of their beloved Brian with immense sadness but also with deep gratitude for the incredible life he lived. They described him as their hero, a man who not only changed the landscape of popular music but also touched their lives with his kindness and strength. The family's words painted a picture of a man who was much more than a famous musician. He was a husband, a father, and a guide. The family's announcement expressed a sentiment that was soon echoed by millions of fans, musicians, and friends across the globe. They asked for privacy as they mourned their loss, a loss that felt both personal and universal. The statement acknowledged the immense joy Brian's music had brought to so many people over the decades. It was a beautiful tribute that reminded everyone of the man behind the legendary songs. His passing was not just the end of an era for a famous band, but the loss of a unique and sensitive artist who had given the world a soundtrack for its summers, its heartaches, and its dreams. His music will continue to be a source of comfort for them. News of his death spread quickly, creating waves of sorrow that rippled through the music industry and beyond. Tributes poured in from every corner, from rock and roll legends who were his contemporaries to young indie artists who had been inspired by his innovative work. Everyone seemed to have a story about how Brian's music had impacted their lives. They spoke of his genius, his vulnerability, and the pure, unadulterated beauty of his melodies. It became clear that his influence was not confined to a single generation or genre. It was a universal language of harmony and emotion that had touched the very soul of modern music. Brian Wilson's final years were marked by health challenges, but he faced them with the same quiet courage that defined much of his life. His family had been his rock, providing constant support and love through his struggles. Their statement on his passing was a final act of devotion, ensuring that the world remembered him not for his illness, but for the incredible legacy of love and music he left behind. They spoke of his spirit living on through his timeless songs, a sentiment that every fan could agree with. The music world had lost one of its most important architects, but the foundation he built will stand forever as a testament to his extraordinary life and talent. Brian Wilson was born in Inglewood, California, a place that would become central to the mythology of his music. From a very young age, he showed a remarkable gift for music, an almost supernatural ability to hear complex melodies and harmonies in his head. He grew up in a musical household, though it was often a difficult one. He formed the Beach Boys in 1961, bringing together a group of young men who would soon define the sound of an entire generation. The band consisted of Brian, his two younger brothers, Dennis and Carl Wilson, their cousin Mike Love, and a close high school friend, Al Jardine. They were just teenagers with a dream. The group's early sound was a perfect reflection of Southern California youth culture. Their songs were filled with images of surfing, classic cars, and sunny days at the beach. Brian was the primary songwriter and producer, the visionary who crafted their unique sound. He combined the tight harmonies of vocal groups like the Four Freshmen with the driving rhythms of rock and roll artists like Chuck Berry. The result was something entirely new and exciting. Their first hit, Surfin', captured the spirit of the time and launched them into the national spotlight, setting the stage for an incredible journey to stardom. The Beach Boys quickly became one of the most successful bands in the world. Their music was an international phenomenon, selling over 100 million records and charting dozens of hit singles. Songs like I Get Around, Help Me, Rhonda, and Good Vibrations became anthems for young people everywhere. They were more than just a band, they were an American institution. Rolling Stone magazine would later recognize their immense impact by ranking them 12th on its list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. Their global success was a testament to Brian's ability to write songs that were both commercially appealing and artistically brilliant. Behind the sunny anthems and commercial success was Brian's restless and innovative mind. He was not content to simply repeat a successful formula. He was constantly pushing the boundaries of what was possible in a recording studio, using it as an instrument in its own right. While the band toured the world, playing their famous hits to screaming crowds, Brian often stayed home in California, He preferred the controlled environment of the studio, where he could experiment with new sounds and complex arrangements. This decision would lead to a creative breakthrough that would change music forever, setting the stage for his greatest masterpiece. By the mid-1960s, Brian Wilson had grown tired of writing simple songs about surfing and cars. He felt a deep need to create music that was more personal, more complex, and more emotionally profound. Inspired by the Beatles' album Rubber Soul, he set out to create a complete, cohesive album that was a work of art from start to finish. This project would become Pet Sounds. Released in 1966, the album was a stunning departure from the band's earlier work. It featured lush orchestral arrangements, introspective lyrics, and some of the most beautiful and heartbreaking melodies ever recorded in popular music. The creation of Pet Sounds was a testament to Brian's singular vision. He meticulously crafted every aspect of the album, working with a group of elite studio musicians known as the Wrecking Crew. He used unconventional instruments like bicycle bells, barking dogs, and the otherworldly sound of an electro-theremin. Songs like Wouldn't It Be Nice and Sloop John B were hits, but it was the deep emotional resonance of tracks like God Only Knows that showcased Brian's genius. Paul McCartney himself has called God Only Knows the most perfect song ever written, a high praise that highlights the album's incredible artistry. While Pet Sounds is now universally regarded as one of the greatest albums ever made, its initial reception was mixed. It was not the massive commercial success in the United States that previous Beach Boys albums had been. The music was too different, too sad, and too complex for many fans who were expecting more Fun in the Sun hits. This lukewarm response was deeply disappointing for Brian, who had poured his heart and soul into the project. However, the album was a huge success in the United Kingdom and was revered by fellow musicians who recognized its groundbreaking production and emotional depth. The album's influence has only grown over time. It marked a pivotal moment in music history, demonstrating that a pop album could have the same artistic weight as a classical symphony. It inspired countless artists, including the Beatles, who have cited it as a major influence on their own masterpiece, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Pet Sounds solidified Brian Wilson's reputation as a true musical innovator. It was the ultimate expression of his unique talent, a deeply personal statement that transformed the recording studio into a place of infinite possibility and cemented his legacy as a creative genius. Brian Wilson's personal life was as complex and layered as his music. He was married twice and was a devoted father. His first marriage was to Marilyn Rovell, with whom he had two daughters, Carney and Wendy Wilson. They would later go on to form their own successful musical group, Wilson Phillips. After their divorce, Brian's life entered a very difficult period. He found love and stability again when he met Melinda Ledbetter. They married in 1995, and she became his manager and his anchor, helping him navigate his health issues and return to making music. Together they adopted 5 children, creating a large and loving family. Throughout his adult life, Brian faced immense personal challenges. He struggled with mental illness and was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder and mild manic depression. Doctors later linked some of his brain damage to his heavy use of psychedelic drugs in the 1960s. These struggles often made it difficult for him to work and led to long periods of seclusion. In early 2024, his family revealed that he was also suffering from dementia, a final, cruel challenge for a man whose mind had produced so much beauty. Despite these profound difficulties, he continued to find solace and purpose in his music and his family. The passing of his beloved wife Melinda in early 2024 was a devastating blow. She had been his protector and his greatest champion for nearly 3 decades. Her unwavering support was instrumental in his late career resurgence, which included completing his legendary Lost album, Smile, and touring the world to share his music with adoring fans. Her death left a void in his life, and his family stepped in to ensure he received the care he needed during his final year. Their devotion was a reflection of the deep love he had inspired in them, a love that mirrored the emotion in his most powerful songs. Brian Wilson is remembered as a true musical genius, an artist who heard a symphony when others heard only simple chords. His legacy is one of innovation, vulnerability, and breathtaking beauty. He taught the world that pop music could be art. He took the simple sounds of rock and roll and elevated them into complex, emotional tapestries that continue to inspire and move listeners everywhere. For music lovers, his work is a timeless gift. It is the sound of youthful joy, of deep longing, and of the enduring hope that, as he so perfectly wrote, God only knows what we'd be without him. His music will play on forever.